welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today I'm going to go over a story titled, My Girlfriend Wants a Baby, But I Don't, and We're 2 weeks away from moving in together. And a shout out to Matt for sending this story. And guys, what we're dealing with here is a classic bait and switch situation. As many of you are aware, maybe experienced this, how you get into a relationship early on, and you lay out some terms, some boundaries, all that. You talk about the future, what you may want, that type of thing. And usually the guy may say, in the case of a lot of you guys, hey, I'm okay with a relationship, but I don't want to get married one day. No marriage for me. Or I don't want to have kids. And a lot of the way it goes is the gal's like, okay, no problem, I understand. A couple of years later, she's hounding the guy about getting married or having kids. And he's like, I just told you. And it's drama central. She tries to bait and switch. Well, we're dealing with the same thing here, except this time there's a twist. We're not talking about a guy and a gal. We're talking about 2 girls, a same-sex lesbian relationship. And it's the same nonsense. Now, I know some of you guys might be saying, I don't want to hear this, I'm leaving. Just stick around. This will prove my point. It's the same darn thing. And in the situation here, the same crap's pulled on this gal, and she handles it accordingly. And of course, the one here, there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes this shady girlfriend of hers is pulling and won't surprise any of you at all. So it starts off, says here, I'm 28 years old and my girl is 26. We've been together for 3 years and are moving in together. I have a part-time job and an online business that I'm trying to pick up from the ground up while my girl works at preschool. So you can imagine we're barely meeting the mark in living costs alone, hence me moving in with her since she has a lower rent. We've had talks about our wants in life, what career, dream trips, and family type of situation. I've made it clear that I'm child-free due to my upbringing and parentification. Basically, I'm already tired and done with the whole child-raising thing. She agrees as her job was enough when it came to childcare. This was 1 year ago. Okay. You heard that. This chick here telling the story here made it clear, don't want to have kids. My childhood was not very good, and you're going to find out that she was like the oldest sibling, so she was raising her brothers and sisters. It was a lot. And this girlfriend of hers is like, no problem. We've all heard that before. While I was bringing in the last boxes for the day, I got a text from her that she wanted to talk about something important. I figured it was about the stuff I'm bringing in. I had more boxes back in my place, and I followed her into the bedroom. She sat me down and told me if I ever thought about marrying her one day. I admit I wasn't sure yet since we're barely moving in together, and we need to get to know each other on a whole other level before making this big commitment like that. There you go, very sensible. But then again, you shouldn't move in together unless you're getting that serious about, taking it to the next step. But here's the thing. She heard her in the beginning. She said she's doing this to save on money because they don't make a lot of money. She's making the classic mistake a lot of entrepreneurs do. She's working part-time and running her business for the rest of the time. What she needs to do is work full-time to pay the bills, and you work on your side business to turn it into a full thing, nights, weekends, holidays, that type of thing. You don't do this part-time shit. You got to pay your bills. So now she's moving in with her, purely economical. It's not a good idea. I've heard plenty of horror stories about people getting together and getting married before moving in together, and they grew to hate each other. I still loved her, but I wanted to know everything with each step. She understood and brought up the reason why she was asking this. She wants to have kids after all. Here we go. There you go, the whole kid thing. Right before you're moving in together, you're springing this on me? How interesting. Guys, how many stories just like this? Even though this gal here made it clear, no kids. They all think they can change your mind when they have you right where they want you. I was surprised to hear this. The preschool she works at is closer to my current place, so she'd swing by to decompress from it. She would tell me how exhausted and stressed out she was from the kids and would even nap for hours before either staying the night or leaving back at her place after dinner. So I was very confused and asked what changed her mind, and she tells me whenever she helps the kids with their projects or they gift her with drawings and bracelets, it makes her really happy. That's great. Be happy at your job. Leave it at that. And by the way, these gals are, one's 28 who's telling the story, and the girlfriend here works at preschool is 26. She even feels jealous towards these same kids giving their bigger projects to their parents, and she wanted that too. She pictured us picking our kid up from school. It would make her excited for the future. See? Same crap, guys. A girl relationship or a hetero relationship? Same crap. After hearing this, I had to remind her that that's not possible since I'm child-free, and she says, still, don't you feel like we could be doing more with our lives? Would it be nice to have a mini-me or a mini-you running around? Now, obviously, you guys know that the logistics of that happening are, well, IVF and all that stuff, or adoption, but putting that aside, same crap. No offense to parents and guardians here, but the idea of that made me cringe. I dealt with enough of my own siblings growing up, and all I remember is being exhausted, stressed out, and too young to be taking care of 4 younger kids while I was barely getting out of elementary school. That's a lot of pressure for this chick. No wonder she doesn't want to have kids. We got in a bit of an argument with her saying I was keeping her away from motherhood, while I told her we made it clear with each other that we wanted to be child-free. So springing this on me all of a sudden as I'm moving in feels like a lot. See? No accountability. The girlfriend here is, you're keeping me away from motherhood. We had the conversation early on. This wasn't going to happen. Do you think she cares? Nope. Same crap, guys. We were going in circles with neither of us budging until she threw in the towel telling me to sleep on the couch. Kiss my ass, am I sleeping on the couch? Admittedly, this made me mad, and I left the apartment entirely to sleep back in my place. I have 2 weeks left to move out, but I was so mad I was considering if I should cancel the move out with my landlord. I know just the thought alone is petty of me, but if having a kid is what she wants and I don't, then it was becoming obvious we were no longer going to be a good fit for each other. Either outcome, one of us would possibly grow to hate each other. Right. Putting aside that this girlfriend of hers is springing this on her, and that ain't cool. Putting that aside, that shady shit, they're not compatible. If you got one that wants children, and the other one that doesn't, or one that wants marriage, and the other one doesn't, you're not compatible. You don't have the same goals. So it's time to part ways. End of story. And there's nothing wrong with this gal not wanting to have kids, and there's nothing wrong with the other gal to want to have kids. It's just they're not compatible. But now you add in sneaky shit, and the big surprise is coming a little later on here. While I love her like crazy, I even admit the idea of marrying her did cross my mind many times, but I'm trying to stay reasonable here with what we both want. She wants me and a family with kids, but I just want her and maybe a pet. Right now, I'm just sitting here on my mattress on the floor, and we're going to need to talk about this, especially with a third of my stuff now sitting at her place. What can I do about all this? What you can do is talk to your landlord and see if you can hopefully not have to move out. Now, it's possible the place has been rented out already, but see what you can do, because you're not going to work. It is not going to work if she wants kids and you don't. Got to part ways. And I might add, the sneaky, shady shit she was doing. But we're not done yet. Now for the update and for the drama, because you know there's going to be drama, guys. Can't watch this show without drama. She says, okay, I really don't know where to start from this. I want to thank those who commented on my last post and the advice they had given me, and I feel like I should clarify a few things. My girlfriend and I are both cis women, so I can't get her pregnant. Oh, for goodness sake. Why don't you just say you're both women? You can't get her pregnant. Gotta throw the cis thing in there. Meaning, hypothetically, if we did have kids, it would have to be through a sperm donor or adoption. No shit, honey. We got that. As ideal as it would be to move back with my parents during this time, they're unfortunately the type who believe my life is not being fulfilled, being child-free. We even had a fight over this, of them begging for grandchildren since I'm the oldest, not taking into account the parenting issue that they put me through being the biggest reason I don't want kids. They even said me helping with my siblings could count as training to be a parent. If she has 4 other siblings, guess what? They can make her parents grandparents one day. Hold your horses, Mom and Dad. Honestly, that just made me more upset. I know people change their minds and are sometimes happier for it, but others that did so are more miserable for it, and I know I'll be the second type. Don't get me wrong, I love my siblings and would do anything for them, but it doesn't take away that I spent what should have been my own childhood building up theirs. I've done my share of parenting already, too much of it, and I refuse to go back. Hey, it's her life. She doesn't want to have kids. She doesn't want to have kids. Okay. You don't want somebody who doesn't want to have kids being forced in some way or another to have kids. As for my girlfriend, now ex-girlfriend, hear that? Ex-girlfriend. building up a fantasy of parenthood that seems to be the case, but there was another that I really hoped for wasn't true. So the next morning, I get a text from her asking if I can come back and we can have a talk about our fight. I was hoping with the cool-down time we'd be more civil with the discussion, but just in case, I called my brothers, who are 24 and 21, and asked them for help and to be on standby. Good idea. Very good idea. This unhinged chick can lose it, and it's good that she has witnesses. Despite the rough life I've had to endure, at least my siblings recognize it was me raising them and our parents taking most of the credit. So they're always at the ready to help me when I needed it. I rarely asked for any help, so my brothers were quick to show up when I felt really desperate. I felt like I should give a placeholders to my brothers here. We will call them Tom and Jerry, and my girlfriend is Sarah. So Tom and Jerry come over, and I tell them that I have to have a serious talk with Sarah, and if things go south, I'll need them with the moving van close by to get my stuff back. You know she senses something's going to go down. Cat fight. Tom agreed to help me get a storage lot for my stuff if it doesn't work out, and I can stay at his place until I can get a new place, so backup plan is already covered. I went to Sarah's, and she was puffy-eyed and red, hugging and apologizing to me for getting upset with me, and we started talking. Sound familiar, guys? Bring on the theatrics, bring on the tears. To the commenters who threw in the idea that maybe she was already pregnant and cheated on me, I hate how right you are. You heard that, guys. She's pregnant. Now you're probably thinking, wait a second here. I thought she only liked girls. Well, apparently not. I guess apparently on occasion, she could use a little sausage. She found out a week ago and was telling me how scared she was to be carrying a child and not knowing what to do. But the thought of being a parent brought her so much joy, and she wanted to share that joy with me. In other words, yeah, I cheated on you and got pregnant. I took time out from being into girls. But it's a great thing, because now we can be parents. Does this sound like a cheater justifying to a guy the cheating? Well, she started hamming up a fantasy about us being a great team with both of our experiences and just started blanking out. Like, I could see her getting excited while she was talking, and I could hear her saying things like, she cheated, she cheated, she cheated. Thank you. She betrayed your trust. She cheated on you. And after what I felt like I swallowed gallons of seawater, she stopped talking, held my hand, and proposed to me. Oh, for God's sakes. She just cheated on her, got pregnant, and now she's proposing. Well, I just about had enough. Here was the woman I love kneeling before me, all teary-eyed with a smile, and I'm trying not to scream and throw up all over this. This being the thing people were right about. I asked her, so you cheat on me, got pregnant, and you're expecting me just to marry you and live happily ever after with this. Thank you. Exactly. She says, guys, the look she gave me, actually shocked by what I said, made me want to leave, but I need answers. When did she cheat? How and with who? How long does it even take for a pregnancy to happen between then and now? Sarah wouldn't answer the question. She just kept accusing me of accusing her of being unfaithful and slut-shaming her for her actions. See, guys, it's the same crap, but with a girl-and-girl relationship. She's the cheater, she's the a-hole, and she's mad at the girl telling this story because, she's giving her a hard time for cheating. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. What this woman here should do is get her brothers in pronto, start loading the U-Haul, and get out of there. Don't have drama with this broad. But, you put a couple girls together, it's going to be drama. She said that she did it for us, and the pregnancy was a beautiful thing that she was willing to carry out for us, and she did us a favor. Oh, well, thank you for cheating on me. You're such a great girl. I'll marry you right now. She even had the nerve to say that if I really loved her, I'd stay and raise our child together. See? It's like the gals that cheat on their boyfriends or husbands and say, if you really love me, you'd raise Chatter Tyrone's baby here. Yeah, sure. I couldn't take it anymore and just went into the bathroom and locked myself in there, texted my brothers to come up, and finally threw up in there while Sarah kept jiggling the doorknob. Eventually, I got the text from Tom and Jerry that they're at the door, and I finally leave to open it up, with Sarah now tugging on my sweater, begging and crying to hear her out. It didn't get any better when Tom and Jerry came in and began grabbing my boxes. Here we go. full on meltdown time. She tried throwing books at them, so I tried to restrain her without hurting her. Picture the scene, guys. The brothers coming in to help their sister move some boxes, and her freaking unhinged girlfriend is throwing freaking books at them, The boys didn't budge or stray. They were passing the boxes all outside the hallway while Sarah continued to scream and scratch at my arms under my sleeves. Yeah, this is a great relationship. The neighbors are probably like, oh shit, here we go. The lesbians are fighting again. I once had upstairs neighbors when I was living in my condo back in Massachusetts. It was a big building, and the upstairs neighbors were a girl-on-girl couple, and they were fucking cool. They were the coolest girl-on-girl couple I ever knew. They liked me. They had cats like me. Big surprise. We all got along, talked about our cats. Although they cooked some weird meals. There was always weird cooking going on upstairs, but aside from that, they were cool people. Eventually, she got a really bad scratch in that made me let go, and she ran to the bathroom and kept screaming and crying in there. Oh, for goodness sake. My brother Jerry warned me that she's only doing that to keep me from leaving and hoping I go and comfort her and to just keep gathering the boxes so he and Tom can get out of there. Of course, that's what she's doing. Well, the neighbors were coming out to see the commotion, and I had to keep getting in between my brothers and them and explain what was going on. And all I had in my mind was hoping none of them would call the police. I'd call the police. If I was one of the neighbors and hearing all this drama in my house, in my apartment building, my condo complex where I'm living, you bet your ass I'm calling the cops. Well, thankfully, either the neighbors took our word or this was that one time the police took their time showing up. Because we got my stuff back into the truck in about half an hour. I really hope some of you weren't right, that she didn't cheat on me, that I wasn't going to be baby trapped, or she didn't even think she could accomplish that with me having nothing to do with it biologically. Like, what the fuck is my life right now? Here I thought I was safe from that kind of situation. But yoke on my face, I guess. I just don't know anymore, guys. Thank you for the warnings and the theories. Despite them all keeping me from sleeping, they kept me on edge for all the right reasons, and being an overthinker, I'm glad I was prepared for this outcome. I'm glad my brothers were there at the ready, because who knows what would have happened if I was alone. See? Just like when a guy has to confront a gal who's unhinged, it's good he has witnesses. Same thing in this situation. I can't remember if I mentioned in the beginning of the video, but I've had a number of gals write into me or message me on Instagram who are lesbians, and they said that they love watching my stuff because they get to understand some things and learn some things, and it's the crap they go through. So this doesn't surprise me. Even my brother Jerry brought that up, knowing how hesitant I was asking for help. Great moment for an I told you so mate. But I know they both mean well. Especially my brother Tom, bringing his dog over for emergency cuddles while waiting for my landlord to get back to me. Until then, Jerry said that he can stay over for a couple of days until we get to know what we're going to do next. So I guess the packing is between a halt, and I'm still ongoing until my outcome is decided by my landlord. Again, thanks so much, you guys. I'm sure to update once we know what the next course of action is. But for now, I just want to lay down and cry with this giant, lovable ball of fur that takes up half the mattress. So, there you go. It's an unfortunate situation, and I'm sorry for her. And I hope she gets away from this crazy chick. But here's the point, guys. Like I said in the beginning, this same crap that happens to guys will happen to the girl-on-girl couples, lesbian couples. And it's amazing. But then again, that's just how it is. So there you go, guys. That'll be a little change of pace for once, but same theme there. Don't fall. The bait and switches happen. If you start a relationship and you don't want to get married one day, or you don't want to have kids, but you're okay with getting married or whatever, be aware. If she says, oh, no problem, I don't want to get married one day, that's no problem, or I don't want to have kids, it's extremely likely that one of those things she's going to change her mind on. And while, yes, people can change their mind, there are people that generally will say okay with you to appease you and hope they can manipulate you at the right time, hence like when she was moving in with this girl here, to get their way. Be aware. I'm sure there are guys out there watching this that have been in the same situation, and if it hasn't happened yet, it probably will one day. Be aware. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.